I think it, but I look dark. Oh, now
Oh,
we're live.
oh, well, oh, okay.
BJ, start the opening
I
credits.
find that everything in my life led me to this moment. Led me to a moment of self-expression. Led me to a moment of realizing that I can do and be anything that I set my mind to. And I like it here. And I definitely thank God for my gifts. And now it's time for me to be able to shine and share that with the world. I'm super excited about this podcast. I'm super excited about this place that I'm in. Happiness has finally found its way to me, and I'm here to share it with everybody. Namaste and Ashe.
Welcome to Sugar Trash Podcast Fridays. Listen, guys, this is definitely going to be an offbeat day today. It has been a day. So I'm looking a little dark here because I am not in good lighting, but it is okay. I am at my shop trying to figure out how to go live because there we go. Okay, I think I can see it now. Because listen, I was having an issue here. Okay, now I made it public where everybody can see it.
Okay.
So now I can breathe a
Okay.
little bit.
Perfect.
Y'all, okay, so listen, I have Mr. Controversial himself. I have renamed him from Fat Boy Chronicles to Mr. Controversial, okay? And the reason why, that last subject that we talked about is, he ruffled. Oh, my husband sees me, great. Okay, he ruffled a few feathers. I'm glad y'all can see me because I'm looking a little chocolate today.
Yeah, I'm a little chocolatey today.
Look, I'm sitting on the floor of our shop, and
okay.
yeah, I'm waiting on him to turn the water on because we this close, and okay, I could breathe that out for a minute.
Breathe it out. Breathe it out.
I should have brought a lawn chair though, so I could sit comfortably. Because man,
I know that floor hard.
It's hard as hell, but they're custom floors, so I'm not mad about that.
Oh, okay.
This is what getting ready to take me out.
Right.
I don't do bugs, right? So if y'all see the computer fly one way, it's because one hopped on me and I just lost it. So just okay, listen. We gotta have a little laughter today, y'all. I need it.
Right.
I got folks calling me about stuff that I'm like, who are you talking about? I don't know.
Morgan State, okay.
Checking in from Morgan State. Somehow BJ has to be important, so
yeah.
Okay. But we love him. We love
BJ though.
Yeah. So listen, everybody. Today's subject is one that's kind of near and dear to me, and it's definitely a subject matter that I feel can be a sensitive one. So a young lady that I grew up with, she put a post up about a month ago, and this made me think of doing a show about this, right? So basically, her post was about parental alienation. And what that is, this is just my definition, and I'll get your definition in a second. But my definition of that is a parent that's there, but you're being treated different than all the other siblings. That's my definition of it, right? Yes. Some other people might say that they feel that it's a parent that willingly left the home. Without any type of interaction with the children, right? What is your definition of that?
Pretty much what you said. You pretty much hit the nail on the head with it. I can definitely relate to this subject, most definitely. So we're gonna talk about it though.
We're gonna dig into it. So my background is my mom had me and my sister being the youngest, and I don't know, like, this is gonna get touchy, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it, right? So she, of course, married my dad, and they were young, they struggled and things like that.
Right.
But my dad did everything that he could to make my mom happy, right? And like some women, when you get into a situation and you get a divorce or whatever the case may be, you get bitter, you get upset, right? Yes. And if anybody that knows me growing up knows I look just like my mom, right? There are some instances where I look like my dad, but I really look like my mother. And I can remember when she got with my sister's dad, there was a certain air to my mom that she upgraded, right? she got someone who in her mind was more financially stable. She was having a kid by him. They were getting married. And I always got the feeling that I was treated different because she felt like she upgraded with my sister's father. And so I noticed that I was always being treated different, always. There have been times that my mother has told me that there was a young man, I think he was trying to talk to me, but my mom assumed he was trying to talk to my sister. So my mom told me, she was like, I don't know why you were talking to him. He was trying to get your sister's number. I was like, oh, you mean this number? Oh, okay. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just rude stuff,
Yeah.
When it would be times where I've walked up on my mom and my grandmother talking about me like I'm just some hoe on the street. I have been punished for stuff that I never did, like stuff my sister would do. I would get in trouble. It would be a lot of mental health things being said to me, right? So as a 42-year-old woman, I now have to reprogram my mind from it. Like I was set to the side and everything was about my sister. Okay. And like all the proms my sister went to, I could have gotten straight A's, done everything I was supposed to do, and I wasn't allowed to go for whatever crazy reason. So when I was like, well, I'm not going to my senior ball, I was forced to go to my senior ball.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, I was never allowed to go to any of the other ones. So what's the point?
Right.
When my sister would go to other people's dances, I would walk in the door just for breathing. Don't come in here ruining stuff for your sister. This is her day. I'm like, ain't she going to somebody else's prom? You know what I'm saying? That kind of I experienced that kind of parental alienation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not good enough. You're not smart. I've got called stupid and retarded so much. It was just like, oh,
yeah, I thought, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, yeah. Or like if I think, like her friends would hear her talk to me any kind of way. So they started doing it, but they fucked around and found out with me.
Of course.
One of her friends, I'm in my late 20s. You need to stay in a child's place. I said, bitch, you can kiss my ass. I'm a grown ass woman. Like, don't talk to me like that, and I feel like if I had that protection of my mother as she would give it to my sister, I would not have felt alienated. So now as a grown adult, I have no problem being by myself, because I was so used to being alone, I'm super quiet. I'm very introverted. And most people would be like, no, you're not. No, I am. Like, I'm on that spectrum of being able to flip back and forth as I need to. Now, when I have to interact with a lot of people, of course, I'm tired at the end of the day. Again, I wouldn't be this way if I wasn't shoved to the side. And then get this, I was the dark-skinned sister. My sister was light-skinned.
Of course.
So then there's that. Then there's that. So what was your experience? Like, what happened with you?
My mom and my dad, high school sweethearts. They got together. They didn't never marry. They had me, little old me. But I always felt alienated by my father, not so much by my mother. Later on, it was my mother too. But my father, I always felt alienated by. My father, literally, I can remember being 5, 6 years old, and maybe a little bit older than that. And me and my mom and my middle brother, we all lived in Ohio at one time. But my experience and what I remember of Ohio is we were homeless. I remember we even lived in an abandoned house at one time.
I remember you telling us that.
Yeah. And my mom always, when I was younger, my mom was always doing what she had to do. And making sure I was cool. My father, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to the podcast. My father was a Rolling Stone at one time.
Okay.
And what made me angry growing up was the fact that my father never married my mom, and then he went off and started a whole nother family and raised a whole nother child that was not his.
Okay. Okay.
And pretty much to my dad, I always felt like the bastard child.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And my dad was always, he was always hard on me. As he's gotten older, he's a little kinder and softer now. But at one time, my father was very hard on me. I remember my father, I must have been maybe 18, 19, 20, maybe. And I went to stay with my father. And my father, he just was on me. Like, I didn't, when you're young, sometimes you don't have that drive and that ambition to want to get off your behind and do something.
Right.
So my father was just like, oh, you're nothing like me. And you're, what he used to say to me. My father, I can remember my father calling me slow, dumb,
I got
stupid.
called that too.
Graduated high school at 16. My father, he came to my graduation, but my father was just a hard man. And I found out later, why he was a hard man, because his father was hard on him. So with me, he always felt like I was a failure at a lot of things because my father's very accomplished. My father went to the University of Chicago. He has a degree in accounting. He has his own business. Very accomplished man. And I'm nothing like that. I'm not as accomplished as my father, but I'm a very smart guy. I'm a hard worker. I like to, work hard with my hands and different things like that. But I'm not as accomplished as him. And I remember him one time, because my last name is Harris, and I got my father's name.
Okay.
And we were riding in the car one time, and I was riding with him, and he was like, "You know what? You're a fake Harris." And I said, "A fake Harris? What does that mean?" And he was like, "Well, our family got money, and our family got this, and our family got that, and you don't have nothing, and this and that, and this and that." And I went home that night. I must have cried for like an hour.
Okay.
That hurt so bad because I was like, I didn't ask to be called by your name, sir.
Right.
Like,
Right.
your expectations of me, like, I think it's because of the name.
Yeah.
Everybody expected me to be my father.
Okay.
And I would tell everybody, like, listen, I'm not him. I'm far from him.
Yeah.
He's him. I'm me. It's just the name.
That part.
So, yeah, that was my experience with my father. Now, my mom is different. But I'm going to let you go ahead, and then I'll go to my mom.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And
that's only a small snippet of it.
Right. And then here's the crazy part. When we talk about the traumatic mental health effects that it has, it makes you into a jacked up adult. It has you really jaded on what life is,
Yep.
And I feel sometimes that you have some parents that they overpraise their children. And then when that child grows up, they expect everybody to be that way. And that's not the case. That's not how life is, right?
Wait until I get to my mom. You're going to be like, wow.
It's a bit much. It's definitely a bit much. And I feel like, for me, in my alienation from my parent, I guess in her mind, the typical brain of a bitter baby mama is that I just reminded you of my father.
Absolutely.
And because of that, you alienated me because I didn't find out a lot of stuff until after my mom died, right? I didn't find out the truth about a lot of things. And it wasn't just coming from my dad. Like, my dad did not take the opportunity to bash my mother when she passed. It was her friends. They told me the truth, about a lot of stuff that would happen when I was younger. I will say this. I'm so proud of my dad for various reasons. And he's going to see this show. My stepdad probably won't, and that's fine. So, however it's received from either side of my family, it is what it is. I'm grown and I'm married. So let me just
exactly. That's how I feel.
Yeah. So I will say this. I'm very proud of my dad because my dad never cheated on my mother.
Right.
Never cheated on my mother.
Right.
That was not the case in her other marriage to my stepdad. Okay. My dad was always very loyal, very faithful. Now, don't get me wrong. Did I feel that my dad alienated me when he had all the other kids, meaning he had them in the same house, because they grew up in traumatic situations, that I hurt for them, for that, being their big sister, right? And he came and got them. So I had the conversation with my dad. I said, Dad, the only problem that I had with you was why didn't you come get me? You knew that I was being shoved to the side. I was getting the bare minimum. I wasn't being treated like my sister. Why didn't you come get me?
Right.
And then when you deal with one parent that is just, very strong-minded and wants you to listen to them and understand their side of the story without talking to the other parent, I feel like, hey, Aunt Michelle. So y'all, my Aunt Michelle, she knows firsthand everything that I went through.
Oh, okay.
With, like, she knows.
Hi, Miss Michelle.
Yeah, she, yeah, and I'm pretty sure, my grandmother, my Aunt Michelle's mom, she saw a lot of it. She was my grandmother's best friend, and I received a lot of alienation from my grandmother too. My mom. Oh yeah, I'm named after my grandmother. But no, the stuff that happened behind closed doors, it's just never feeling like you were a part of anything. Never. And like, I can remember before my grandmother passed, again, this goes into the alienation part. Me and my cousin Michael, we didn't get good grades in high school, right? But college, we flourished in college, right? So all the siblings, my sister included, everybody in college, everybody doing well, they just knew he and I would not go to college. My grandmother was like, you need to be more like your cousins. They're in school, they're getting straight A's, yada, yada. So, before my grandmother died, I said, well, I just got something I need to say. And she was just like, well, what? I said, you know how you used to talk about how me and my cousin were stupid? We got bad grades and we would never finish anything. I said, I find it funny that we're the only two that have a bachelor's in kinesiology, anatomy, and I have an additional bachelor's in nutrition. I worked for the NFL doing massage therapy, and I hold 8 certifications in personal training.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I'm very accomplished.
Talk your talk, B.
Right. It's Sugar Trash Friday. I'm gonna talk my shit.
Talk your talk, B.
I earned those.
Right.
Like, I worked very, very hard.
Right.
Hey, look, Dennis is here. He done graced us with his presence.
What he do?
Yeah, he always busy.
Yes, sir.
Always busy. Boy, they speeding back. I hope they get this water on, y'all, because I'm sitting up here on this hard ass floor watching these, looking at these crickets. They got me stuttering.
They don't want you.
They
don't want you.
They trying to bite me.
They ain't trying to bite you.
They are, and I don't have my husband here to be completely girly at this point. You see, I'm twitching, looking around.
I see. They don't want you.
I don't do bugs. I don't.
Oh yeah, that's the girly thing. Y'all don't like spiders and bugs and my girl different. I swear my girl be a dude sometimes because she's like, I don't care. Only thing she's scared of is bees because she allergic.
No, and see here I'm like this. I'll hold my hand out for a bee to land on my hand.
Oh, see,
I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's the lizards and the frogs, and he can pick up snakes, no problem. Listen, my husband is all of 6'2.5" or something like that. I will climb you so fast, I'll be on your shoulders before you know it. Get it, don't get it.
You're a mess.
And am. Listen. I don't care. I turned into just all the feminine energy came out when I married my husband. All of it.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm able to talk about what we're talking about now, because I'm with somebody strong enough that, you know what I'm saying, I can have these conversations, But yeah, let's talk about your moms. How did she alienate you? Like,
woo, where do I start? We gonna take up the whole show with this one.
Listen. Look, BJ said he gonna fire us if we go for 45 minutes another week.
Okay, so let me tell you. My mom, let me say this first as a disclaimer. I love my mama. My mama could be a bit of a headache and she could be a bit of a pill. But I love my mama. Having said that, now we're going to go into the situation. Now, my mom had 2 other kids. I have 2 other brothers. And me being the oldest, everybody's expectations is you got to do what you got to do and make sure you look after your younger siblings.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the responsibility of every older sibling ever.
Yes.
So I can remember a time where I had to change my brother's diapers and feed them and different things of that nature. Now,
Mm-hmm.
how my mom alienated us was my mom always, I was always called ugly.
Me too. Me too.
I was called ugly. I wasn't fat. I was really skinny.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, and I got made fun of for that. I wore really, really, this is the 80s and 90s, so the glasses was huge. So I got picked on a lot. My mom always made a difference in me and my brothers. Like, I remember my middle brother got his ear pierced before I did.
Okay.
And my mom, I didn't get my ear pierced until I was grown. And my
Okay.
mom literally let my brother, like my brother was the pretty one, and he's so this and he's so that, and you're this and you're that. And
Yep.
no matter what I did in school, no matter what I did, same situation you had to deal with. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what I did, I was always the bastard child.
Yep.
I was always to the left. Me and my mom for many years did not get along. Me and my mom have damn near come to blows too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're cool. But my mom just had this thing with my brothers. And then when my baby brother came along, that was a wrap for me.
Yeah.
But I will say where I got, let me say this first. I was a loner too. I've
Yeah.
always been a loner. I've always been by myself. I've always been to myself. I never was outside with other kids. Every now and then I would, but I was so awkward. I didn't like hanging around other kids.
Okay.
So I would sit in my house. I had video games and different things. So I just stayed to myself.
Yeah.
I excelled in school, but when I got to college, oh my God, I went buck wild when I got to college.
Yeah.
But in high school, I really hunkered down. I graduated, did what I had to do. But I just remember growing up that I was always ugly. Everybody was, you're so ugly, you're so ugly, you're so ugly. And
Yeah.
for so long, I would call myself that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would date women, I've been married and the whole nine. And the women that I've been with, they were like, why would you call yourself that? I'm like, because I am. That is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta embrace it, but not realizing the trauma that got put on top of that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And my mom and my dad contributed to that.
Okay.
And my mom especially, she just was like, I was never good enough.
Right.
I wasn't loved like I was supposed to, but boy, if it wasn't for my granny, man, my mama's mom, she raised me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even know what love felt like from a woman
See, and I find it okay. I find
at
it very
all.
interesting that you said that
Hmm.
because I didn't even have that.
See, I
I didn't
feel
have none
bad
of
for
that.
you.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
It was. If you can ask my husband right now, and he'll tell you.
Hmm.
When we got together, it was like I just do it myself. I just do it myself
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's like I always had to depend on me, right?
Hmm.
So I would have to say like most people be like, oh, well, I didn't. You and your husband act like you don't have any problems. Y'all perfect. We are. Okay, but there are definitely times that my husband has to remind me, I got you.
Right.
I got you.
I have to be
So,
reminded of that too.
right. So I would have to say that would be our only struggle because I was
Right.
so alienated that my husband has to remind me on a
Hmm.
regular basis, I love you. I got you. It's
Yep.
me and you. That's it. It's me and you. You ain't got to worry about nobody else.
Right.
Know? And it's so much so, and I don't know if you experienced this, but the alienation that you experience from
Hmm.
parental figures, from your
Hmm.
siblings, when you
Hmm.
go around strangers, you can walk in a room and instantly be like, they don't like me.
Oh my God,
They
B.
don't like me, you know.
B, I would tell my girl, I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, you fine. I'm trying to see what
But
is. I'm just being nosy, looking.
I was with my girl one time, and I'm the type, like, I'm very skittish when I go in public. I'm a little calmer now, but there was a time when I would go in public with my girl and my anxiety would be on 10.
Yep.
And I'd be like, I know they're talking about me. I know they're saying something. I know this.
Yeah.
Because I feel I'm a vibe person.
I got a locksmith here. You better get in this thing.
You do? Oh, thank God.
I'm a vibe person. So I always feel vibes. Vibes are like my biggest thing. So I can remember being with my girl and she kind of was like, babe, you don't have to be so like standoffish. You don't have to be
Yes, Dennis, we need you on the show. I just wanted to acknowledge
so
Dennis. I'm listening.
closed in.
Mm-hmm.
You can be more open. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got you. Don't trip.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I started letting that, that guard down a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very standoffish.
Yes, me
And
too.
that comes from my parents and the negativity and the constantly being told that I wasn't enough.
Yep. Yep.
That's where that stems from. So yeah, I totally get, like, when I walk in the room, B, I tell people all the time, I don't like you. Like, if I feel that, if I'm looking at you and I feel that energy, I don't ignore that.
Right.
That's my
Right.
intuition.
Yep.
That's my second guard. That's
Yep.
like, yeah, that's not a cool situation. I pulled myself out of many situations because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that intuition. Like, if I walk in the room, this ain't the vibe. Let me go on here and go on
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I definitely, you know, with us having the same situation, I fought my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I just do, because none of the validation came as it needed to.
Right.
You poured everything into my sister. Don't get me wrong, my sister's beautiful. She's very intelligent. You know,
Right.
she's doing well for herself in spite of the things that we went through with our mother. You know, good for her. However, I caught 95% of the abuse.
Right.
Hands down. I will stand 10 toes down on a hill. I will die on that. You
Mm-hmm.
can't argue with me on that.
Nope.
I got bruises from that. You understand what
And
I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to tell you.
Right. So if there have been times as a grown ass woman, my mother didn't like what I had to say. Again, the alienation, something's wrong with her because it's not me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as a grown woman in my 30s, you're gonna sock me in my back. I almost forgot she was my mom. I was, ooh, you know how you be like, listen, and parents, let me tell y'all something. All the parents that are watching, after a certain age, don't put your hands on your kids. They're grown.
Please don't.
Because
Please
your
don't.
child is going to fool around and snap. And then you're going to find out, you're going to fuck around and find out what your child is really made of. Ma'am, oh, hey, yeah, you're gonna find out what your child is made of.
Oh my God, Kelly hit it right on the head. Oh my God.
What Kelly say? Mine is
Kelly.
my brother was always in trouble till my mom could do no wrong, and I always felt left out with her, but I had my dad. Marcus felt he wasn't enough for my. Oh,
And that spoke to my spirit just now.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
My mom, my middle brother. I've only been to jail once. I've been to jail once.
Too.
I've never been to prison.
Yeah. Thank God for that.
Amen for that. I mean, I was stupid. I was young and stupid. I was doing stupid stuff. But luckily, I didn't go to prison because the stuff I was doing, I could have probably went to prison for it.
Understood.
But I got, I fixed myself. I'm good. But my middle brother, has done 2 stints in prison.
Wow.
But my brother, in my mom's eyes, when he was younger, he could do no harm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, don't get me wrong. My brother graduated high school, very smart, very intelligent. But he made some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had 2 stints in prison. And I don't knock him. I mean, you do what you do. Once you get a certain age, you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember a conversation of what me and my brothers had about a year ago. And they were both saying, like, we never looked at you as the big brother. Like, you never gave us that big brother energy. Because, and I was like, well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell you the truth. One day I heard you and my younger brother talking, and y'all were basically like, oh, we not gonna listen to him. He don't know what he's talking about. He's stupid. He's this and that. So from that conversation, I just stopped messing with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm doing me. I'm on my own. Whatever.
See, this is what I want to ask you. Did you find that your younger siblings were allowed to make their mistakes in their appropriate age?
Absolutely.
Versus you not being allowed to make those mistakes. So now, and I'm speaking to me too. So now in my 40s, I'm now trying to handle what I should have done in my 20s and my 30s, and now all that shit hitting me like a flood.
B, I'm finna tell you straight out. I got put in group homes when I was a kid. My brothers didn't, and they had similar issues that I had. But they didn't get put in group homes. I did.
Okay.
And I still to this day, and I've talked to my mom and everything, I still to this day resent my mom, my dad, and my grandmother for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, why did I have to get alienated and put in these homes with people I don't know, but my brothers were allowed to go to high school regular and go to prom and do all these different things? Like, I was never allowed to do any of that. Because I was in a group home. I had to have permission.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, now, you know, as I get older, I'm not as resentful for it. But there was a time I was like, man, like, y'all did a number on me, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I mean, anybody that talks good about my mother, I cut them off. Yeah. I don't want to hear it. If you want to sit here and be like, oh, your mother was this, that, and the other. Yeah, okay, listen, my husband's calling me. I got to go. And then I'm going to block you. I'm going to cut you off.
Facts.
Because I tell people all the time, you saw what I was going through. You saw I was being alienated. You saw that the favoritism wasn't being shown towards me. You saw that she was doing this. You saw all of it. But yeah, you still want to come to me and talk good about this terrible person? No, you had one job and you failed. And that is the mental effects that this has. Like, I can say for me, I am prime example of what parental alienation looks like.
Yep, right here.
Unhealed, having to do shadow work, not handling things in an adult manner. I handled them at the age I was frozen at, which is 8 years old. Okay. Woo. I will throw a tantrum in a minute.
My God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we are all frozen at an age where we had a traumatic experience. That is where we're frozen. And that is how you handle emotional situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you talking about an 8-year-old stuck in a 42-year-old's body? Like, come on now.
I'm gonna tell you. 10.
How old is it? 10? See, 10. That's crazy.
My fiance called. I didn't even notice this. I'm telling you. My fiance called me on it because she saw me act out in a certain way. She was like, she pulled me to the side and she was like,
oh, wow. Wait till you see Kelly's message again. Now that's hurtful.
What age are you right now?
She said that?
Yes. I said, I'm 40 something years old. She said, no, you're not. What age are you right now? I said 10. She was like, that's how you're a 10-year-old coming out and I see it. I was like, oh, snap. Because I ain't never did that with anybody I've been with. And no female has ever pointed that out to me.
It's because you're with someone who you're safe with.
Yep.
So that's going to be key in you healing from parental alienation. You have to be with a partner that makes you feel safe to be an 8-year-old in a grown-ass person's body.
Man.
Because when I tell you.
As soon as she see it, she's called me on, babe, you acting 10.
And see, my husband gets quiet and he'll be like, you okay? You know, it'll just be that. Or like when we first got together, I had separation anxiety bad. So I would talk on the phone with him from the minute he left the door and locked the door.
Right.
Until he got off of work and unlocked the door to come back in. And most people be like, you're being codependent. No, I'm not being codependent at all. I can do things without my husband. I choose not to.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, but just the fact of him leaving and being gone for that many hours, that's difficult. and I'm in the house by myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just now okay with being alone with my thoughts. I'm just now okay with being able to look at myself fully in the mirror. You know, so that's rough when you have a parent that feels that you're not pretty enough to be able to be in a relationship with someone. You know what I'm saying? Or they try to control, you know, who you're with so that way it suits them. You know what I'm saying? So I have to say, for the first time at the age of 40, I experienced true happiness. And a lot of people would ask me, like, okay, well, how do you feel now that your mother's gone? I said, relieved. If you expect me to miss her and feel sad, you're not going to find that here.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I did everything that I was supposed to do for that parent that alienated me. Okay. When she was sick, I cleaned her. You know, I made sure she was dressed, fed her, all that stuff. When she couldn't do for herself, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I suffer from PTSD and see PTSD about when she died.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I saw that, me.
Right.
The stronger child.
Right.
You know, because I don't feel like my sister could have handled that mentally. I'm still functioning.
I'm the stronger child.
Yeah.
My brothers, if my mom passed today or tomorrow, Lord willing, that don't happen.
Yeah.
But if she passed today or tomorrow, I would be the stronger one.
Mm-hmm.
I would be the one that can handle everything.
Mm-hmm. Because you had to. You had to.
My mom always leans and comes to me. One time she cussed out both my brothers because my brothers have a tendency to, quote unquote, be disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was raised by my grandmother. Now, B, I told you about Marion.
Yeah.
Marion was 6'6".
Yeah.
And she didn't play no games.
Yeah.
So respect was given. You had to give that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So with my mom, I've always given my mom respect because I've tried to get out of line with my mom, and my grandmother was like, "No, you're not. That's still your mother."
Yeah.
So with my mom, my brothers get out of line all the time, but I'm always the one, and she always say to him now, like, your older brother gives me way more respect than y'all do, but you shitted on the kid,
right?
That gives you the most respect, where you crapped all over him,
right?
Like my mama didn't do what they want to do. My mama didn't even teach me how to tie my shoe. My godmother did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mom taught me how to dial a phone and different things of that nature, but the little simple things. I can remember times where I was not around my mama. I was with my godmother or my granny.
Yeah.
And that's where all that, like, I had such a hard time dealing with women in my life.
Look, wait a minute. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. My mother, I would sit in on conversations where she would be a mother to other women on how to, you know, be sensual with a man. Marry, how to, you know what I'm saying, how to draw him in with this, that, and the other. Do you want to know the conversation with me and her? Oh, you don't need to talk to him. You better not be doing this.
Oh,
or you shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, so when I got married to my husband, I was like, Lord, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing here. Like,
did she ever meet your husband?
Thank God, no.
Oh, thank God.
Hell no. She was gone. She was gone. She was gone.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you like this. Another part of parental alienation is when your mother is in direct competition with you. That's a messed up situation. We lost him, but he will probably be back. I see the screen still. So when your parent is in competition with you, it is widely inappropriate on so many levels. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Okay, you guys, he's gonna have to come back. So to finish telling this story, when you have a parent that is in competition with you, it's almost as if they don't want you to supersede anything that they've ever done. So they don't want you to be smarter than them. They don't want you to be more accomplished than them. They just don't want you to accomplish or do anything that they didn't do, right? And so I made up in my mind that when I got married to my husband, that I was going to have a successful marriage.
Okay, there I am.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good now. I had a call.
Okay. And my husband put the lucky number in the chat, so that's good. Like it's a tradition now. But but yeah, I was telling everybody that I had to deal with my mom being in competition.
Right.
So yes, am I happy she didn't meet my husband? Absolutely.
Right.
I believe that it would have been sabotaged. I believe my wedding would have been about her, all of that stuff.
Ooh wee.
So I'm grateful in many ways that my father was there. Yeah, I mean, and my younger sister Ebony, she made it. Now mind you, I have 7 other sisters. This is the only sister that made it. We'll unpack that at a different time.
Yeah, we will.
We will. Yeah, because I feel like this. There's no excuse to not show up for your sibling. I'm gonna just say that. There's no fucking excuse. If you couldn't make it, guess what? It's called Zoom. Hey,
yeah,
let's set up the computer. Can we just we'll be there in Zoom. Can we do it that way? We want to be there for you. You understand what I'm saying? I had one sister. Now my older sister, one of my older sisters, I would not allow her to pay that plane ticket, baby. 10 grand for the weekend? No, ma'am, you will not.
Right.
You will not.
Right.
You bought my wedding dress. That's good enough. Yep. You sent me my wedding dress. That's good enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, right. and then this is a whole nother show. You can be alienated by your siblings, especially if they're being told one thing by one parent and then you're being told something different. Parents will play siblings against each other. And my mother did that with me and my sister.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to go back a little bit of what you were talking about. My father was like that with other young men. He was very fatherly to other young men, but to me, it was do this, do that, just hard on me, drill on me. But these other young men, you can help mentor and teach and show. And like my father knows business really well. He has a business degree. I know nothing about business. My father will not take the time to sit down and teach me business at all.
Yeah.
But has taught other young men. You know what I'm saying? Taught my sister, my younger sister. But I resent my father more because of the fact that, man, how do you go and start a whole nother family, my guy, and then raise another child that ain't yours? And then your son was struggling, going through things, having all these issues, anxiety, depression, PTSD, all these things were going on with your child. But instead of you embracing your son, you pushed me away. You were like, I'm not dealing with him. Something wrong with him. And my mom somewhat dealt with me, but my grandmother, I'll save this till I can breathe. My grandmother was my saving grace. Because without her, I'm telling you, B, I would not know what it felt like for a woman to embrace me and love me unconditionally.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I had so many issues with women and it stemmed from what I dealt with my mother. Like, B, I was...
See, look at Kelly's comment while you talking. She went through the same shit I went through.
Yep. Never had those. Yeah, and
it's like, why? Why not have that conversation?
I could never talk to my father about certain things. I couldn't.
But get this, Lindsay, I can talk to my dad about these kind of situations. I told my dad, I said, Dad, my last relationship, I found about how to be a woman. Yes, me too.
Wow.
Kid you not. Like my dad would try because he had all girls, right? It was mainly girls, 3 boys. So my dad didn't have the time to say, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to hear about that. You don't have the time for that. Because guess what? Both the mothers of your children ain't shit. So we got to learn it from somewhere, right? So at the end of the day, I want to know, at the end of the day, how to be a wife, how to, be there for my husband, how to please my husband. That shit's supposed to come from your mother. So the conversation I had to have with my dad, I said, well, Dad, I went from a limp dick to a dick all the time. I said, I mean, shit. I said, it's nice to come home to a dick that work. I mean, it's nice. I'm serious.
You a man.
Look, Lindsay. Now, shit, you grown. Who wants to deal with some shit that don't work all the time?
I me personally, it got to be nice and wet for me.
Okay,
I can't deal with the dry.
Right. So you don't want to be in the Sahara every fucking time.
That hurt.
Right.
That hurt.
So you could imagine you being a woman and you younger than your person you with, and you like, dude.
Right.
What's wrong with it? Yep, Kelly, my dad bought me condoms too. Listen, if you're gonna do it, use a condom.
Let me tell you, I was like 9 or 10, and my grandfather was around. Now, I call him my grandfather, but he wasn't my well, I guess you could call him that because he was married. Okay. He was married to my granny.
Okay.
So that was my granddad. His name was Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Now Nate was a 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", very tall, very skinny, very cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
I learned certain things from him before he passed. Not enough though.
Yeah.
Where I thought my father would teach me, I had to learn not only on my own, but my mom hung around a lot of guys. She was in the street. You from the Bay, you know what it is. You know what it is. I ain't trying to go that far. You know what time it is.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
So my mom was on the block, and she hung around a lot of guys. She had a lot of guy friends. She didn't like a lot of women.
Right.
So a lot of the guys that she was around, I learned a lot of game from them. We from the Bay. You know what it is.
Yeah.
So I learned about condoms and different things like that. I remember one of the guys my mom hung around with, dude brought me a whole box and was like, here, put this on. When you want to do something with a girl, put this on. Otherwise, your stuff go fall off. That's what he told me, B. on everything I love. He said, your stuff go fall off and it's go burn. I said, okay, well, I'm going to put this on. Probably why I ain't got no kids now. But
you do have kids.
On and make sure that I'm cool. So, yeah, B. That I had to learn. I didn't even learn none of that stuff from my dad. I learned that from other men. And the bad part I learned from my dad was how he played women. My father was married for many, many years.
Yeah.
And my father cheated like 90% of that relationship on my stepmom. Yeah. And he cheated on my mom as well when they were, together and whatnot. He cheated as well. So my father, like I said, my father was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
And I learned all the negative. I'm telling you, B, the man I am now was not the man I was 10 years ago.
Right.
I'm telling you, I was a mess.
Yeah. And I tell my husband that too. I said, I don't think you would have wanted to be with me when my mother was still living. I don't think you would have wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been a power struggle.
Facts.
Or she would have been trying to figure out how to date you.
Kelly. Yeah, Kelly, that's what he told me. He's like, listen, if you don't put this on, it's going to burn, it's going to fall off, and it's going to hurt.
My God.
I was like, okay, well, I don't want it to fall off and hurt. So let me put this on or burn.
Right. At that. That's a problem.
I got one child, B. I got one daughter.
Yeah.
15 years old. No more kids.
And see, we have that, me and my husband have that conversation. Everybody knows that I had a partial hysterectomy, so I can't physically carry a child.
Right.
If I wanted to surrogate, I would. But I'm old. I don't have the patience like my husband does, right? So my mom always told me, 'cause at first I was like, I don't want kids. I even had this discussion with my husband today. I said, yeah, I never wanted kids. Like, it was never in my gut to want them. It's not in me. Right. And so my mom was like, well, you may find someone, fall in love, and want to have a kid. Okay, well, now here we are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, we old.
Yeah, I'm old.
Kids
I'm
are almost
42 next month, B. I'm
right.
old.
Like, his kids are almost grown. Like, we need to be looking forward to grandkids, at this point, because I'm not. No, and then our child would be a savage.
Right.
He would not be able to get nothing past that child.
I'm trying to tell you.
Super smart, got them hands, and got that mouth.
B, my daughter 15.
Mm-hmm.
And love you.
Lord.
All right, baby. My daughter's 15.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter, between her and her mom, me and her mom, savage.
Yeah.
Mouth, intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and quick with it. Like, you can't get nothing past her.
Yeah.
But we put that in her very early.
Yeah.
Oh, and she got hands. She'll fight a dude or a chick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of glad that I did that with my daughter, because now can't nobody just walk up and say anything to her or punk her.
Right.
Like with me, I got picked on so much, B. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
I got beat up and punched on all the time, and oh my God, B.
Now I have to say this. One thing I can say that is a positive out of how my mother treated me is I've never been raped. I've never been sexually abused or anything like that by anybody, because I wouldn't let you near me anyway. I was never little miss, we are the world, let me hug everybody. I was never that way.
Mm-hmm.
Never. It was like, no, get away from me, don't touch me, none of that. Right. So I think in that case, I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but the downside to me not experiencing certain things that I should have, that if I would have had to deal with it, my empathy level for those that it has happened to, I don't have that.
Wow. Because
I can sympathize with your situation, but then my common sense kicks in. I'm like, well, wait a minute. So what happened when this happened? Where were you then?
Okay, so let me tell you. I was essayed.
Okay.
As a kid. By my
now be careful what you say, because I'm good at unpacking shit. So if you get mad at me, I'm just saying I ask a hard question.
You do what you do. I've had extensive therapy. I'm all right.
Okay.
But I was essayed as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, B, I told you I was an introvert and I was a very quiet and timid kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tell my mom and my grandma until I was about 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
This happened when I was like 6 or 7.
Okay. So it still wasn't that long.
Yeah. But I remember, and it happened to me more than once.
Okay.
So the first person was a babysitter, female babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the reason I've had issues with females as well. Then so on and so forth, other things happen. I ain't gonna go there because that's a little touchy subject for me.
Okay, no problem.
But I remember those things happening, and I remember I blamed my mom for so long for those things. And I blame both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But for so long, I gave all my mom the anger, because I was like, if you were more attentive as a mom and paid more attention to me, like none of that stuff ever happened to neither one of my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Yeah.
Why did that happen to me?
Right.
Why? Because you weren't attentive. You weren't paying attention. You were letting people watch me that weren't supposed to be watching me. Like this, the first person that did that to me was a teenage girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just always look at my mom and my dad, and I'm like, thank you for bringing me here, but damn it, I could have did with some better parents, man. My goodness.
Yeah. And see,
so, yeah.
I wasn't even allowed to spend the night at my grandmother's house.
Man.
Until I was 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? And my mom would just send my sister anywhere. But here's the problem. She would send her, but she would also send me.
Right.
Hence another reason for alienation. Because when she would send my sister places and I had to be there to monitor her, I would overhear them talking about, well, why she always sending her? Why she always sending her with her?
Right.
You know, we didn't count for her to show up.
Right.
You know, or either like if I was supposed to be taking care of my sister or whatever, no, you don't have to do all that. She's here with us. Okay, so then what about me?
Right.
So my sister's family has alienated me. And here's the thing, like me and my husband were on a cruise, and anybody that I have talked to about it, I talked to my husband in length, but I never forget anything. I never forget.
Me either.
Anything. So a lot of times I had an emergency situation on the ship.
Okay.
That I had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Oh my goodness.
And but my husband was there. The person that was supposed to be there for me was there.
Right, was there,
okay?
right.
I was disappointed that others were not. But that's fine, because the person that was supposed to be there was there. Okay. Fight your mama. I really don't care what you think if you watch it. Okay. And I told him at that point, it triggered me, right? It triggered a bunch of alienated memories that I had about each and every person that was there on the trip. And I said, you know what, babe? I said, what they don't understand about me is I don't forget shit.
Nope.
I don't forget shit. And for that very reason, this is why I back off. You won't hear from me.
Yep.
You know, what most people don't understand is they play a part in your alienation and then have the gall and audacity to make it seem like it's not true. What
like it's your problem, like you the problem.
Exactly. And I've told my therapist, I said, and I hope people watch this, I'll even make a post. Stop telling people to tell your truth. That is a backhanded insult. When people are like, oh, speak your truth, speak your truth. That's not a compliment. That is an insult. You're basically telling that person, tell what you think happened. Right. Because we know it's not the truth.
Right. Right.
And you're telling your version of the events.
Nope.
You're totally dismissing what what's happening.
What I gotta say. Yep.
Now.
Yep.
Because you're still telling me I'm lying.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So at this point now, it's like, well, why do we hold back on pointing out a parent that wasn't there? Why are we not holding certain parents accountable for their behavior? Because half of us are in fucking therapy because of these baby boomers that are our parents.
But you know what, B? I'm gonna say this, and this is no excuse for them. But a lot of them went through a lot of crap too. You know,
I understand that. I get that.
You know, B, it's generational. It's curses.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
So, like my mom, for example, I'm gonna give you my mom.
Yeah, Kelly, that makes sense.
My grandmother, her mother, was at one time. My grandmother was on drugs at one time.
Okay.
My mom tells this story to this day about when my grandmother was on drugs and she put a gun to my mom's head. But this is the trauma that my mom had to deal with. But then I had to think back, okay, what is the trauma that my grandmother had to deal with? Okay, she was raped. She was raped. And then her older sister pimped her out to other men.
Okay.
Like, I'm finding this stuff out now, but then I realized, okay, this is the trauma my grandmother had to deal with. So she passed the trauma to my mother, who passed the trauma to me.
See, and this is where I lack empathy, right?
Right.
So I would cut you out of the equation, and I'd be like, so what the fuck does y'all's trauma got to do with me? Y'all have me fucked off.
I say the same thing.
You understand what I'm saying? I can't empathize with something like that because you make a conscious choice to not heal from that shit.
Go fix yourself. Yep.
Exactly. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, well, they did the best they could. No, the best they could was recognize the shit and still love me equally.
Yep.
That's the best you can do. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you completely tell your child you can't do something, or you're so strict on one child and don't let them do something that you're letting the other child let them do, You're now causing conflict. That's being fucking messy.
Strict child.
Strict child.
Don't do this, don't do that.
Exactly.
Brother that went to prison twice. Got to do whatever he wanted to do. He could go hang out. He done stole my mama car. He done did all kind of stuff. He was allowed to do that.
I know, Kelly. I know.
Me? I wish I would have.
Trust me, I got stories that would probably cause me and my sister to never speak again for the second time.
I got them, but I don't want to say them.
I
don't want to say them.
To my husband, because I still deal with it. And I know that my mouth is disrespectful. And I'm one of those people, I'm like, you know what? There's no point in me bringing it up to my sister because it's the past.
True.
You understand what I'm saying?
True.
And I don't know where she is with her mental health to be hitting her with some shit from the past. Because let me tell you like this, me and my sister are the same. We're both fire signs. If you didn't bring that shit up when it was relevant, why the fuck we talking about it now?
Okay.
For what?
Yeah. What's your sign, B?
I'm a Sagittarius and she's a Leo.
Sagittarius and
so we're two of the strongest. Now Aries
Leos are dope. I love Leos.
Fuck that shit. They're so fucking self-centered.
I love Leos. I was with a Leo for like 5 years and she was the sweetest.
Now I have a good friend that's probably watching. She's a Leo. There's very few I can count on my hand that are really some cool ass people, right?
Yeah.
They are not what the others are, because I'm gonna tell you, the whole collective of a Leo is they're very self-centered. It's all about them. They could very well put their own blood to the side to care about somebody else, because they're not, that attention is not all on them.
Yeah.
They're very much attention seekers.
Yeah.
Again, not all of them are like that. But they whine a lot. They're big ass babies when shit don't go their way.
Much so.
They lack accountability as well. It's always somebody else's fault. It is. BJ, get the hell on.
BJ?
He'll be all right. I mean, look. If the shoe fit, walk in them motherfuckers.
Now, Sagittarius is a different stuff. I mean, I have some stories to tell you about Sagittarius. Okay, back to what we were talking about.
We the best.
No, I love Sagittarius.
We the most laid back, but I'm gonna tell you, out of all the fire signs, Aries are the best. I'm gonna tell you now, they are.
Aries, ooh,
they are. And people keep saying, "Oh, I don't want to deal with one."
My god sister is an Aries, and when we were kids, we couldn't stand each other because I'm a Scorpio. So we couldn't stand each other. But now, that's my dog. Like for real.
They're very sweet people, but what happens is when people keep saying, "Oh, they're mean," that means you got on the wrong side of their personality.
Wow, Kelly.
That means
I hope that I pray for y'all to continue that. Uh-oh.
Oh Lord. Okay, we're back.
Oh, okay, there you go. You back.
Yeah, he's very, very strong-minded, very strong-willed. So if he don't want to do something, if he don't want to talk about something, he ain't finna do it.
Right.
Like when he got a reading from me, I was like, yeah, he's not gonna listen to me. But apparently he did, And I don't know.
I gotta get a reading from you, B.
Yes, you do. That's
because we've been talking about it, and I haven't had a chance to yet. Also, do you do past lives too?
I do.
Okay, we gonna talk. We gotta talk. Yep, I gotta find out because I think I know, but I'm not sure. So we gonna talk about it.
I tell you in front of everybody what you were in a past life.
I've seen my past life 3 times.
You weren't a man.
Okay, I was in the 70s at one time.
Yeah, but you were a female. You weren't a man. That's what I see. Look, one of them, I was a dude. Another one, I was a female. Yeah. It's very it's very much so without even looking at anything. It gives off when you say past life. I was like, oh, he was a girl, instantly. Yep. Yeah. So at one time, yes. My whole the emotions that you have right now, like it's. I'm telling you, listen. My homies, my partners, they all say that. They're like, bro, because I'm very in touch with my feminine side. I kid you not. I am. I ain't gonna lie about it. I'm just one of them dudes. I'm in touch with it. I like scented candles.
I like bubble baths. You know what I'm saying? Like, B, I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm all man over here.
Right,
But
right.
the thing is, my guys are like, bro, why this house smell like potpourri? I'm like, bro, I don't want my house smelling like ball sweat and donkey nuts. Like, dude, what is wrong with y'all? I walk in y'all house, you can smell your feet.
Oh my God.
You can smell your dirty drawers. You like, bruh, it's okay. And then if you got women coming over, she don't want to smell that. Like, what
Not at
woman
all.
want to walk in a house and smell your garbage?
Right,
Like, I'm
right.
just saying. But yes, B, I got told this one time. I did
Yeah.
a reading one time, and somebody told me I was a female in one of my past lives. I was like, okay, that explains a lot.
Whose mom jumped in the baby?
Who would?
Girl, wait a minute. This might be reincarnation. Cause listen, y'all, I'm
He
convinced my
said,
dog was
please,
my mother.
because my mom jumped in her baby.
Which one, girl?
That's crazy.
No, I'm telling you, they come back for a brief moment. Because I keep telling my husband, like I looked at a photo of my stepson and my husband, and they both are grinning the same way. I'm gonna do a side by side and send it to my husband. I said, you can't tell me that you don't hold my stepson's energy. Especially the way that my husband protects me. My stepson was the same way. And get this, my stepson was born the same week as my husband.
Wow.
Same week, both of them tall, same height.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, both of them chocolate, both of them into anime. He's a mirror. My husband is a mirror image of my stepson.
Oh, wow.
Mirror. When I say their memory is sharp as a freaking tack, you can tell them something once and they're like, okay, I got it. I heard you.
Yes, Kelly. Because I'm literally in my homie's house. I done walked in my homie's house. I'm like, bro, it smelled like blunts, booty, Hennessy.
Curtis, it don't matter that you older than he was. And yes, her mother, okay, so during a reading, now I know what she means. So during a reading, her mom, so I'm a medium, everybody. So that
Right,
means
yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
I can hear a loved one or they're just going to take over my body.
Right.
So in this particular situation, Kelly's mom stepped into my body. And that was definitely a different experience. It was definitely different. Her mom has a very big personality. So when I say she consumed me, completely consumed me. So sometimes you have to be careful when someone's loved one will consume you because they can take you out. So I have to be able to let her know, like, hey, you got to go. You know, like I'm slipping away, you got to go. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's not an easy situation to be in. I've had my stepson passed away. He walked through my body.
Okay.
So yeah, I experienced that a lot. I experienced dead people touching me on the face a lot to let me know they're there.
I thought that was just me. I swear, B. I'll be sitting here wilding. I'll be in my house by myself, and I swear I'll be like something touching me. I don't know who it is, but I hope it ain't nothing crazy.
Oh Lord.
I'll be like, I know I ain't going crazy.
Lord.
So I'm trying to tell you, B. Wow, I didn't know you was that deep in it, B.
Mm-hmm.
You take that would trip me out, B, if we did that and my grandmother just jumped in you.
It trips me out, especially when I can hear someone's loved one talking to them.
Out.
Yeah.
I swear I would, because I'd be like, B. And you wouldn't be B at that moment. You would be my grandmother.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And it's like, and there's no warning. I will tell you this, there's no warning when it happens. Like I have a client, his brother, that they don't like each other. The brother's passed away and him and the brother still can't stand each other. His brother stepped into my ear. And as the man is talking, the brother got complete control of my mouth. He was like, fuck you, nigga. I was like, I said, where the fuck that come from? He was like, you a fucking liar. I was like, sir, like seriously, I had to be like, leave.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's just, and him, that man turned around, he said, you sound just like him. I said, because your goddamn brother is here. You know what I'm saying? Just some real Eve's Bayou bullshit.
Yeah, I don't play with that. I don't play with that. But no, B, that's a thing. That's a gift. I call it a gift. It's a gift and a curse.
Oh, listen.
It's a gift and a curse.
Listen. You just don't even understand.
Because I just saw it was this movie on Amazon Prime with Monique.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just watched that about a month or two ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tripped me out, B.
Mm-hmm.
Tripped me out because the girl literally did exactly what you're describing. I'm
Yep.
getting chills now talking about it.
Yep.
But it tripped me out because I'm like, I didn't know that really could happen.
It can.
Like somebody could just jump in, you speak, and go.
You can have somebody try to pull your soul too. Yeah, I've had that happen. My
Oh
husband
my.
said he had to hold on to me one night because he said I was just jerking real bad. And I said, yeah, somebody was trying to kill me.
Really?
I could feel him pulling it.
Pulling at your soul.
Yeah, so my
My
husband
goodness.
said he had to kind of bear hug me because he said the twitching was real bad.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yep. So yeah, I think
Woo!
at this point the whole alienation thing might have been a blessing. It might have been a blessing because most people be like, that one over there is a little crazy. You don't never know who you're talking to when you deal with her.
Yo, man, it
Yeah.
used to trip me out because my dad's mom, my grandma,
Yeah.
she was a very spiritual woman,
Yeah.
but she was into church and Jesus and all that good stuff, right? But she could see things.
Yes.
She was like, I remember one time she came to me, and I was a kid. I remember this vividly. I was a kid, and she came to me one time, and she just started running down all kinds of stuff, just random stuff.
Yeah.
But I've seen my grandmother literally go up to somebody in church, touch their forehead, and tell them everything,
Yeah.
like as if she was in their life all their life.
And I had to leave the church for that reason because I would see stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was a problem. So it's like I got to get
yeah.
out of here. I can't do this anymore
It's
because
a
it's really
trip.
messing with me. Yeah.
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 Woo!
Yeah.
We going deep, B. We going
Yeah,
deep.
yeah, it's definitely yeah, one of them things that you get, you just kind of deal with. And I think that,
Mhm.
it prepares you for some things, but the mental health ramifications of it, it's not fun. It's not fun to deal with,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
So I'll say this well, I'm gonna let you have some closing remarks and I'm gonna go after you.
Okay. Um, great show as always, B.
Thank
I love
you.
the topic. I love coming on your show. You can
Thank
invite me
you. Thank
anytime.
you so much.
I've taken a hiatus off of my show. I will be back very, very soon. Also got another show I told you about with
Yes.
my boy,
Mm-hmm.
Prince Robbo. We talk a lot of different subjects on there. We're actually about to do an episode. Um, we're doing a hip hop episode soon.
Nice.
So the episode is about, okay, I don't know if you remember Special Ed.
Yes.
So Special Ed made some comments on a podcast not too long ago, like a
Okay.
few days ago, saying that NWA brought about the age of destruction in hip hop.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people on the West Coast that are very upset by that. Because I understood what he was saying. I just felt like he said it out of context.
Yeah, NWA, those were our first activists.
Yeah, those were exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for him to say that as an
Thank
East
you,
Coast
Kelly.
guy, I was kind of like, dude, you touching on a touchy subject because that stirs up emotions
Yeah.
when you say stuff like that. I got what he was saying. He was
Yeah.
saying that we're the ones destructing ourselves. But instead of him saying it that way, he just put NWA in the front, and it kind of made other people on the West Coast, especially the older hip hop guys, like, well, wait a minute, you can't just blame that on NWA. There was a whole corporation and all kind of stuff in between, crack and all kind of stuff in between
Yeah.
that. You can't just say that.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
I'll be back on my podcast soon. I'm gonna invite you as well.
Okay.
I also have some ladies. I can't remember their podcast right now, But there's two ladies that I follow on TikTok, and I'll be having them on my podcast as well. So we're gonna have a
Nice.
whole big
Yeah.
council situation at
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
So but yeah, that's what's going on with me. Those were my closing remarks. I appreciate you always letting me come on and speak my mind. You know, I'm gonna
Absolutely.
tell it like it is and not
Absolutely.
like it ain't. So go ahead, B.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your continued support of this podcast. I definitely try to pick topics that will make you think, that'll make you mad a little bit, possibly
Yep.
make you cry. But that's who I am. That's just, I had to be honest with myself that I just like to be a little shit starter sometimes. That's just me. Just saying. So anytime any of you have any questions or want to send an anonymous letter and we can tackle it on one of the shows, you can email me at mrsbealee@gmail.com. That's Mrs. B. Lee. And I would be more than happy to read your letter and give you the best advice that I can possible. So we have 2 more shows before we will end season 1. So I look forward to you guys tuning in on the last 2 shows. So next week we will have Reverend Walt Robinson. We'll be doing a part 2 of the alpha male versus the masculine male. He's definitely coming with them facts, you guys. Like, he's coming with statistics. He was definitely worried about being having an opposition to my husband's opinion, but I'm like, no, we always have a healthy debate.
I haven't watched that episode yet, B. I need to watch
should.
that episode.
Yeah, you should, because like me and my husband have our views of it. You have other people that have their views of it, and Walt, I've known Walt since I was a baby.
Right.
So, he definitely had some facts that I was like, interesting. I might consider that.
Right.
So the show will be pre-recorded, you guys. So because Walt is busy, so I will get with BJ so we can get the show recorded, and we will have it on Friday. If for any reason that should change, I will make an announcement. So thank you guys again. Thank you guys for your undying support. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys next week. Ashe and namaste. Peace. Look at this.